What is up, Gemini? How are you guys doing? It is bonus time. Time for your January 2025 bonus reading. So what I'm doing is looking for missed details, missed situations, missed scenarios, things that didn't make it into the first round of January readings. Any of you in need of a personal reading, all you got to do is check the description of the video, and that's where you'll find everything you need to know. All right, I'm starting these off with general messages. So career, finance, friends, family, anything but romance. What general messages do we have for Gemini for January 2025? That still doesn't sound right, man. January 2025. That's going to take a minute for me to get used to. What general messages do we have for Gemini? Ooh, the Fool card reversed. Wow, there's a lot coming through here. There's a whole lot. Kind of feeling like you fell out with somebody in the past. Now remember, this is not romance. This is general, okay? So the first thing I like to look at is it friend or family? When it all comes down to it, it's the first person that comes to your mind when I say that. But in this particular spread here, I'm not getting any family vibes. I'm really not. I don't have 10 of Cups, Emperor, Empress, 6 of Cups. I don't have anything indicating parents, children, family, anything like that. But take it how it resonates. I'm feeling like there is an open door of opportunity for you to get closure with somebody you fell out with in the past, but you're a little bit afraid to do that. I don't know how this is happening. It's not really telling me. I don't know if somebody's showing up in your inbox, you know, like say for example, you and your best friend fell out 4 years ago, for example, and you see them ding in your Facebook inbox or something like that, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. There's somebody though. There's somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion. Maybe you see somebody out in public. Maybe you're going grocery shopping or something like that, and you see from across the aisle somebody you fell out with in the past, and you're like, oh shit, let me avoid this person. It just kind of feels like you don't really want to go there. So you do have a karmic tie with somebody though. Friend, family, could have been a coworker that you got into a fight with, somebody where there was a bad falling out in the past. There's going to be an open door of opportunity for you to get closure, but it doesn't really look like you're wanting to do that. Looking like you're a little bit nervous and antsy about the situation. So, some of you dealt with a Leo, possibly. I have 2 Leo cards here. Also got Libra there and Aries. All right, let's get some general advice. What general advice do we have for Gemini? Ooh, eight of Wands, rather. Ooh, the Emperor reversed. Well, I mean, honestly, with a situation like this is tricky to give advice on. This is really tricky. Because when it all comes down to it, let me say this. When it all comes down to it, you find your own closure in your heart. You do. Okay? You're the only one that can find closure at the end of the day. But when the universe puts you in a situation where somebody comes back into your life, that only happens when you haven't found closure in your heart. Here's a little way to test whether or not you found closure, okay? When you start talking about the situation, does it get you pissed off and angry? Even if you put it to the side a long time ago, If somebody was to sit down and bring that conversation up and ask you to retell the story of what happened, does it get you all pissed off and mad? You know, you feel unfinished business, your heart starts pounding, you're all pissed off and hurt about it. You ain't healed. Are you able to look back at that whole experience from the minute it started to the minute it ended and everything in between and explain why it was meant to happen the way that it happened? Tell me why that person was meant to come into your life. Tell me why it was meant to go down the way that it went down. What was the purpose? What purpose did that serve in your life? If you're not able to look back on something that's happened to you and explain why it was meant to happen, so much so that you're glad it happened, you wouldn't go back and change anything that happened for anything in the world, you haven't healed. Think about that. I know that's a lot to wrap your mind around, a whole lot. But when it all comes down to it, you are the only person in this entire universe who is capable of and responsible for assigning a meaning to the things that happen to you in your life. You're the only one that gets to do that. Your life and everything you've experienced in your life is completely fucking meaningless without your consent. You're the only one that gets to assign a meaning. Guess what? Most people don't bother doing that. So let me ask you this. Let's say something happened to me 4 years ago. Something hurtful, something painful, something that went against what I had planned. Well, I'm the only one who gets to decide why that was meant to happen. Now, what if I don't do that? What if I just go about my life and wait until I forget about it and then just put it behind me like a fart in the wind? What is that experience? It's unresolved, unfinished business. It's a gigantic cosmic question mark lingering in the ether of eternity. Unresolved, unfinished business is what turns into karma. That's why there are so many humans stuck on the fucking karmic wheel. Yup. Think about that. When they tell you on the spiritual path, all of the answers are inside of you. You hear people say that in the spiritual community? Sounds cute, sounds fluffy, sounds good, but what does that fucking mean? What it means is whatever I choose to believe the answer is what the fucking answer is. That's what it means. There is no answer outside of the answer I choose to believe. One of the most believable, persistent illusions of this matrix that we live in is that there are truths, facts, and answers that exist outside of us that we don't know, that somebody else knows. You know how they get that illusion to manifest? They just get 6, 7 billion people to believe the same thing, and it has no choice but to manifest. That's where facts come from. Now, I'm not saying there's no such thing as facts. I'm not saying that, but that's where they come from. We manifest the facts. Think about that. All right. Now, we're moving on to the love portion of the reading. See, what was I doing? Fuck, I don't even remember, dude. Let's see what's coming in next. Any details, situations, scenarios about the next person coming in that we missed for Gemini? Ooh, I think you're getting what you're manifesting. Now that could be good, that could be bad. Just because you're getting the person you're manifesting doesn't always mean that that's good. Hopefully it is, but when it all comes down to it, a lot of times we as humans don't know what it is that we really need. But it does look like that you're manifesting the next person coming in. You know what I think it is? So, okay. The good news is I do think that it is somebody that you know. The bad news is I don't think it's somebody that you're interested in. No, I don't think so. I'm not saying that you're necessarily uninterested in them. I just don't really think it's somebody that you've thought of that way. I'm going to give my generic go-to example, okay? I like to use workplace examples. I don't know why. It's always fitting. So let's say, for example, there's this person that you work with. And maybe you've been working with them for 6 months. And you're aware of their existence. You might even say hi to them every now and then. But they don't own a square foot of property in your mind at all. Like, you don't think about them. You don't look at them. It's just one of those people that you're aware that they exist, but that's as far as it goes. Then one day you're out at the county fair and you're standing in line to get a fucking corn dog. And then next thing you know, boom, there they are right behind you. And you turn around and you're like, oh shit, what are you doing here? Boom, there it is. Y'all come together in a way that you never would have expected, ever. Now, I think that you and this person do have some karma to work out. But I don't think that this is one of those karmic contracts that's a must. You know that there's a lot of backup karma that you have in your life. There are some soul contracts that's like a must. We're fucking doing this, right? So this one isn't one that I would say is necessarily due. It's not like a must. This isn't a definite part of your life path, but I think a lot of you are taking a timeline that's getting very, very close to some backup karma that you set in this lifetime, just in case you happen to take that timeline and get close to them. So this isn't going to be one of those types of contracts that is going to magnetically draw you in and like make it very difficult for you to part ways with. You'll feel a sense of soul recognition with this person, but I don't know. It just kind of feels to me like you might not even really be wanting to go there, you know? I'm kind of feeling like you might kind of keep this person at an arm's distance. Honestly. And this person might get on your nerves a little bit too. So, yeah, okay. Could be an Aries headed your way for some of you. I also have Scorpio, Cancer, and Taurus here. All right, well, let's see this person's true feelings, energies, and intentions. Their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions. Oh, that's why. That's why this feels a little bit funny to you. Well, they're very sexually attracted to you. That's about as far as it goes, though. Now, they do feel a sense of soul recognition. So whatever little petty ass little karma y'all got from a previous lifetime, they pick up on that on probably an unconscious level. But honestly, I'm not even 100% convinced this person's ready for a relationship. Not really. I don't know. It kind of honestly feels like they might be fresh out of a relationship, or they're just still holding on to the heartbreak of their past relationship, possibly. I don't know if they're really ready to settle down, though. It'd probably be real easy to get them in bed, though. They'd probably jump on a fucking giggity sex connection, you know? And I think you're picking up on that. That makes sense now, why you're kind of like, I don't know. You'll probably end up coming to me for a reading asking me what their intentions are. That's usually what happens. Okay. Well, let's see, how does this situation play out? Are you gonna go for it or not? How's this situation playing out? Next person coming in for Gemini. How's it playing out? Magician again. Like I said, believe it or not, you're actually manifesting this person. That's why I think you're taking a timeline. Now, honestly, I can't think of very many times this has come through a general reading. Because when I say what is due to come in, what I'm talking about is before you incarnated in this lifetime, because there are certain things that you experience in life that you set up that are fucking a must, you know? And that's, compared to everything else you experience in your life, it's kind of a tiny handful of things, you know, of different experiences. Some things are like predestined. Like, it don't matter what you fucking do, you're going to do this. You're going to meet this fucking person, right? But that, like I said, in comparison to everything else you experience in your life that's kind of, you know, shaky, that's a tiny little handful of things. I don't think this is one of those things. However, whatever you've been working on manifesting does vibrationally align with somebody that you do have some karma with from a previous lifetime, but it doesn't really look like karma that is on the top of your higher self's priority list. Does that make sense? I don't ever remember explaining this to my general audience before. Usually when this comes through, it's for personal readings, but hopefully somebody needs to hear this. So, no, I just don't really think you're emotionally connecting with this person. I don't think so. That's the Queen of Swords there. Pretty fucking badass Queen of Swords, if you ask me. Fucking native lady. Look at that. Isn't that cool as fuck? I just don't really think you're emotionally connected to this person. Not really. I don't think so. Man, I feel like they're more interested in you than you are them. I think they're coming on kind of strong, to be honest with you. So I'm not really feeling like you all are really completing this karmic contract. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm thinking, honestly, you're kind of backing away from this. I'm thinking so. You might talk to him for a little bit, go on a date or two here and there, but I can honestly kind of see you stepping away from this and jumping on the next person that comes in. I'm thinking that you're gonna turn this person down for somebody else. I'm thinking, more than likely. Well, any advice? That doesn't sound like it needs advice. That sounds like advice that I would give you. But we'll see if there's any advice. Any advice for Gemini? Well, if something triggers your defenses, there's a reason. Now, here, let's dig this up a little bit. Let's unpack this, okay? When something triggers your defenses, there's a reason. Now, here's the funny thing. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Doesn't matter. When it all comes down to it, when push comes to shove and the nitty gets gritty at the end of the fucking day, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Let's talk about some possible reasons why your defenses might get triggered. What's the most common reason? Your intuition is picking up on something that's fucking off about this person, right? Doesn't feel right. You can feel that something's off about them. Okay. Well, is that energy sufficient enough to sustain a solid foundation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's flip that coin over. What if this person has nothing but the best intentions? Why would you be confused about that? Why would you not be able to vibrationally decode the fact that this person has nothing but the best of intentions? Either A, you're so traumatized and broken and fucked up that the lens through which you view the world is so cracked and broken that you couldn't understand true intentions if it slapped you in the face. Is that energy sufficient enough to sustain a solid foundation? Absolutely not. Or maybe the two of you are just such a vibrational mismatch that they could be throwing pure intentions at you like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and you wouldn't be able to catch it. You are just not picking up what they're putting down because y'all are so vibrationally misaligned. Is that sufficient enough to sustain a solid foundation? No. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you slice the bread and how that cookie fucking crumbles. It doesn't matter why your defenses are triggered. When something triggers your defenses, no matter what, that's a problem. It doesn't matter why. That energy will not successfully sustain a solid foundation. So don't waste your time trying to figure it out. It doesn't fucking matter. See what I'm saying? So, if it doesn't feel right, then don't fucking do it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, if this was one of those contracts that was a must, I wouldn't have the authority to tell you that. That's between you and your higher self. But this one here feels like petty karma. You know, some silly shit. Our higher selves are so fucking weird. So the way we think as humans in the 3D form is so different than the way we think on the other side. The things that we think are really important as humans, on the other side, we think are stupid, silly, and petty, and vice versa. You know, like as humans, we think the most important things are our romantic relationships and the money that we make and the car we drive and the house that we live in and the way we look and the way people perceive us and other people's opinions of us and blah, 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 blah. That's important to us as humans. On the other side, that's silly, petty, childish bullshit. Now, on the other side, what do they think is important? The way you smile at the person that you walk past in the grocery store. Right? Whether or not you said hello to the cashier, right? Whether or not you held the door for that stranger in line. Those things on the other side apparently cause the biggest fucking ripples in the ether of the universe. Those little bitty acts of kindness. Whereas humans, we just think that's silly little petty shit. So do you see what I'm saying here? How sometimes our soul contracts can be so mind-bogglingly nuanced and complex that they're just, we could sit all night and talk about that. I don't have time for that. Let's move on to the next part of the reading. Let's look at the person that you're interested in. Person Gemini is interested in. Let's see. Any other details that were left out of the first round of January readings? Ace of Wands reversed. Some of you interested in the fire sign, possibly. Hang on. Oh, shit. This is one of the most common cards that's come through for the person you're interested in December and January. Seven of Swords reversed. You know what that means? That means you're catching them in a lie somehow. Oh, I can count at least 5 signs that's come through for the last 2 months. Catching them in a lie. And it feels like it's, not only are you catching them in a lie, which that's a turn off in and of itself, you know, but it makes you look at them so differently that you almost immediately completely lose interest. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know what this is. I don't know what the hell they're lying about. I don't know if they're lying about their ex or how much money they make or something. Whatever it is they're lying about. Once you find out whatever this is they're lying about, it shines an inevitable spotlight on them that you can't ignore. You know, sometimes if we're into somebody, we want to try to stuff all the red flags under the rug, you know, because we want to see them a certain way. Every now and then, though, something happens that makes you see somebody so fucking differently that it's like, whoa, that's who the fuck you are? That's who you are? Boom. You are not who I thought you were at all. And a switch flips. It's like flipping off a light switch. Boom. Turn the light off. Boom. See what I'm saying? That's the best example I could give, but well, damn. Okay. Some of you dealing with a Scorpio. All I have is Scorpio here. Yeah. And this is a final decision. There is no overthinking this. There is no, no, you're making a final decision. I feel like you're losing interest in this person overnight. Let's look at this person's energy. Now I'm curious. Let's look at their energy, bruh. Hold up. Let's look at their energy. Energy, their feelings, their intentions. See if I can dig this up a little bit. I might not be able to. Because a lot of times, with a few exceptions, there's a few exceptions to this, but most of the time, when somebody's lying, Spirit won't tell you what they're lying about. What fucking difference does it make? You know, all that matters is they're lying, and that's not somebody you need in your life. But I'm kind of curious. I want to see if I can unpack it a little bit. Kind of curious, man. Ooh, strength card. I think it has to do with their love life, absolutely. Honestly, it kind of feels like I don't really know. I don't really think it's one thing. Now, you might catch them in one specific lie, but when it all comes down to it, whatever this lie is that you catch them in, it's something that reveals the fact that everything about this person is a lie. They have a whole different side of themselves that you don't know. So it's like they're lying about everything. Everything. It's not just one thing. It's not just their love life. It's not just how much money they make. They painted a completely false version of themselves in your mind. Somehow, some way. So I don't think it's that simple. This person absolutely is playing the field and keeping their options open. They ain't trying to settle down with nobody. And most of the time when somebody does that, what's the reason? Why? Unhealed heartbreak. Unhealed heartbreak. Most of the time. They ain't trying to settle down with nobody. No, they're not. No, they're not. Which, what I've never understood is, why don't you just be real about that? You know? I've never understood that. Now, me personally, I'm happily married to my fucking person. But I remember back when I was dating, I've never understood the whole lying and cheating thing. I've never understood that. It's never made sense to me. If I want to fuck around with people, I ain't going to be in no relationship. What's the fucking point of that? You know, like when I was playing around, fucking around, being a little whore, I was very open about it. I ain't trying to have no relationship. We can fuck. That's about it, though. I don't want nothing else. Nothing else from you. I'm like very open about that. What is the point of playing mind games with people like that? If you ain't down with that, okay, later. I ain't fucking with you then. If you ain't down with that, you know, I don't know. I've just never understood that. Anyway, though, yeah, so all right, well, again, that doesn't feel like it needs advice. So I'm just going to throw like 2 cards on the table just to see if there's any advice. I doubt it, but there might be. There might be a little bit. Let's see. Is there any advice for Gemini with this person they're interested in? Well, just try to minimize any drama. I think we already talked about this, didn't we? Told like 5 signs of that in the last fucking month or 2. Try to minimize the drama. You know, once somebody shows you their true colors, I get it, it's hurtful. Especially if this is somebody that you think you know real well. I know that may not be all of you, but I feel like there's a little handful of you dealing with somebody that you know, or so you think. You know, you think you know them. I've been working with this person for the past year. You know? You don't fucking know them like you think you do. It happens. I get it. I've been there so many fucking times with friends, romance, fuck, even family. But once you see somebody's true colors, don't get all pissed off. Don't tell them what time it is. There's no point. There's no point. See, one of the things that the ego hates is being wrong. The ego hates being wrong. But the quicker you can train the ego to understand that it's okay to be wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to die. You're not going to have to surrender your identity. The quicker you can get the ego brain to accept that, the easier it is to say, oh, wow, that's who you are? I was wrong. I was fooled. I was bamboozled. I was conned. Boom. Just let it go. Poof. Ghost. Ghost. Poof. Plus, not only that, but I'm thinking that on the other side of this, you could potentially end up connecting with somebody that'll make you look back at this person and laugh your ass off. If you release this properly, okay? All right, y'all, I feel like those were the messages that my Gemini family needed to hear, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget to check the description of the video if you would like to find out how to schedule a personal reading. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I wish you love, luck, light, and prosperity on your